Good evening, Gills fans. Welcome back to another episode of Gills in the Blood TV. Weekly roundup, Plymouth to talk about. Plenty of stuff has come out of today's press conference in the run-up to Bradford, which we will preview as well. Let's go right back to Tuesday night, because we have to, unfortunately.
Surprisingly, a lot of us had quite high hopes, didn't we?
I predicted us to win 2-1.
A lot of people on Twitter had good feelings about it.
Thought it was a massive opportunity against a side that were... There's not many that are in worse runs than us at the moment. They'd only won one game all season. I alluded to it on Twitter during the game on Tuesday evening. They were averaging a goal every 115 minutes, which is basically less than a goal a game. I think it was 11 in 14 they had before Tuesday. We rock up, 2 in 35.
Is generous Gillingham again?
3 in 90 minutes. We're back to generous Gillingham, unfortunately. You can rely on us if you're having a bad time of it,
Just
can't win a game, can't score a goal. Which is brilliant. We're bottom of the league now, rolling into town after we went to bottom of the league and they replaced bottom of the league at the bottom of the league. Something like that. We were rubbish by all accounts, weren't we? I feel really sorry for the 250 plus that went.
You know, like the whole Scally giving away tickets thing.
Yep.
A lot of people on Twitter have quite rightly come out and said the people that went aren't going to be casual armchair fans. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to think on a Tuesday night, I'm going to travel all the way down to Plymouth to see two struggling teams. It is people with season tickets, the majority that would have gone.
Is it though? Because there's a lot of fans that go away that don't go home now.
Well,
because they say they don't want
that's going to entice them to want to go.
But then the other thing is there's a reason why they're not going to home games, so are they then going to pitch up just because they're getting 2 freebies? Because if they are in the Scally out brigade, so they're protesting and not going to home fixtures, and then they suddenly pitch up because they're getting a freebie, then it says more about them than it does our chairman, surely. For me, he's made a gesture, he's acknowledged the fact that it was poor, but he's opened up a massive can of worms now.
I think I said to you yesterday that I think if Lovell was unsure whether Scally was watching, he certainly knows he is now.
Because, like I said yesterday, I tweeted yesterday, what happens now if we rock up Saturday and we're 3-0 down at home to Bradford at half time? So it was what, 4,000 season ticket holders? Well, you know what I mean. There's not 4,000 season ticket holders before I get jumped on. But say there's 4,500 in there, and even if Bradford bring 1,000, what are 3,500 Gills fans going to do? Oh, what? I want 20 quid back. It's set a very dangerous precedent.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, my attitude to football is we always know what we're getting into at the start of the season. Number 1, it's my choice if I buy a season ticket. Number 2, it's my choice if I then go along to the game if we're rubbish. Number 3, like I said, after I think there was another, was it Rochdale when this all come out and someone tweeted and said clubs should send refunds to the fans?
Yeah, I'm not for that at all. Never have been.
We didn't go, oh, yeah, Mr. Scally, here's an extra 30 quid for Portsmouth, did we?
Yeah, we won the league. We didn't keep saying,
exactly,
yeah, some more money.
We didn't go, oh, here's an extra 400 quid because I paid double on a season ticket because we've been really good for 9 months. It's not how it works. You turn up, you take your chance and you pay your money.
We've all been to away games hundreds of miles away. And we've since turned over, and at the same time we've gone there and we've won.
And the ones that are moaning are going, oh, it's been like this for how many years? Well, if you know it's been like that for how many years, then make your choice. Don't bother. Simple thing. So for me, it's a gesture he's made. Fair play to him for doing it, but it sets a dangerous precedent in my eyes.
I think it just he thinks it makes him look slightly better to the media.
But does it, someone said today, does it undermine the manager and the players?
Yeah, but again, that's what I'm saying. Scally is not ignoring it. He is watching.
Yep.
Whether they like it or not.
All the stuff that's come out in the last 3 days to me is exactly the same as it was just before Adrian Pennant went. We'll get on to Bradford in a minute, but for me, it's win or bust. Saturday,
I said this last week, and I thought we had to get 4 points out of these two.
That's
and
it.
Now it's
well, we said 4 out of 3, didn't we?
Yeah.
We said after Southend we'd give him the next 3, which was Doncaster, Plymouth, and Bradford.
Doncaster, by all accounts, we got a point. Obviously, we didn't go. Me and Stocky listened to it in the car on the way back, and we weren't great.
They had 32 shots.
Yeah, it was. All we kept hearing was ball into the box from Doncaster, Marquis,
yeah.
and
it was going to happen at some point.
Even at 3 out of 4 shots or something like that.
It was all 3 on target when it went in. So I mean, from that point of view, you say, well, we probably deserve to get something, but from a team that's had 19 shots on target, whatever it was, you say you probably got away with it.
And then
3-2 up with a minute to go.
You think 11 men behind the ball?
MK Dons a couple of seasons ago when we equalised in the last minute, come from 2-0 down under Pennock. And then conceded last minute, do you remember?
I remember in the Pennock days.
That was the one where Zesh Raymond and Max Amor got absolutely annihilated on social media at the end because the ball went up in the air, didn't it? And they both just sort of, everyone said they just let it drop in the net. But yeah, obviously there was massive opportunities to see it out regardless of how much we were under the cosh. But back to Plymouth, They didn't even have to be very good to beat us. That was the biggest concern.
There's a lot of players being singled out, and a lot of the same players on social media. Eves and Holy seem to be the only two that...
I heard a lot was that Tom Eves was the only one outfield player that actually, you know, even made a
one or
basic
two
effort.
comments about Holy. Is he being sugar-coated by fans? Should he be doing a bit more?
Was he potentially at fault for the last one? I read on social media a couple of times. But I've not seen it. I couldn't even bring myself to watch it. So, but regardless of who's to blame, and on the pitch, off the pitch, whatever, we went 2 goals down again. We conceded one, and then we conceded another one shortly afterwards.
This time we didn't get going again, and usually 2-0 down, we have a go. All right, we might lose 2-1, but we have a go. We
didn't have a go till 3-0, did we, by all accounts? So it was
quite
one
a
of
few
them to
paid
forget.
£10 for iFollow, hadn't they? I know Stocky was actually...
Someone said they struggled to find any positives out. I nearly quoted them to him and said, well, I didn't pay for it. That would have been the biggest positive for me Tuesday night, was I didn't actually bother because I was quite tempted. I ended up watching United get beat at home in the Champions League, I think, instead, which was better. But yeah, a couple of quotes from Mr. Lovell, back page of the Medway Messenger. I can't make decisions on what my future holds. That is down to the chairman and others at the club. I will just to continue to do what I'm trying to do until I'm told otherwise. He said, I understand the situation and the chairman is in. I just want the opportunity to work with the team that I brought together in the summer. Hopefully that will happen, but who knows? The talk of a dead man walking?
I think it's a very, very thin tightrope now.
It's similar to the one where Scully come out and said Ady deserves his own team after all the bad apples and poison that we had to get out at the end of 2016-17 when we went to Northampton on the last day. It smacks of very similar sort of talk coming out. What else have we got? But yeah, I mean, we all know he's on thin ice. He's on very thin ice. We've won 1 in 12 this season. We've not won a football match of any description since August. And that's why we're... Sorry, we've won 1 football match since August. Yeah, you're correct. Sorry, that's my error. And then to just to make everything a bit better today, because I sat there at work this morning and was wondering why the press conference hadn't been announced, because usually it happens about lunchtime, because I sit there and read it as it comes up, but it was mid-afternoon, and then I had a little snooze on the sofa this afternoon, woke up to comments of, Christ, we've sent players away and what's going on, and so I started searching frantically through the Gills Twitter feed. Yep, Steve Lovell's confirmed that he has sent some footballers away from the football club this week. We don't know how, we don't know what's happened, what type of meeting there's been, if there has been one.
We have speculated between us, haven't we? But it doesn't seem very positive.
Some people are obviously saying, which is lost the dressing room. If you're having to send people home, then obviously something's gone massively awry, which isn't a good sign. All we can hope is that those that are still involved and will be involved on Saturday are massively behind the gaffer and what he's trying to do. And but anyway, a couple more quotes. So obviously this had been coming because this is today's paper. So this was published, obviously printed last night, early morning. So this was before today's press conference. He feels he has given opportunities for some of his men to impress and felt let down by certain individuals on Tuesday night as they lost 3-1 to lowly Plymouth. He said, you give people opportunities to go in and prove a point, but I don't think they have done themselves justice. None of them can come knocking on my door if they don't play Saturday. I have to produce as a manager, but I can only produce if players are producing for me on the field. If they are not producing for me on the football field, then they are no good to me at all. In the last 3 or 4 games, there are players that have played and haven't done it. It is disappointing, but that makes my mind up, doesn't it? Football is a game where you have to produce. I don't disagree with anything he said. He's right.
No.
And we've had plenty of chats about Steve Lovell over the last few weeks when he distances himself from defeats, but then suddenly wants to get involved with it's us on the training ground when we win football matches. But if there is poison in that dressing room, like there was when Adrian Pennock was there, then we've had a little discussion. We sort of almost agreed and almost disagreed about certain points of it. I've put a Twitter survey up this evening and said, is this different to him publicly slating players because they've had a bad game? Is he within his rights to do it if people are basically just taking a mick and down in tools, or is it just the talk of a man who knows that he's coming to the end and it's one last desperate throw of the dice? We
disagree slightly, didn't we, on this?
Yeah, and so for me, I think if it's people who are blatantly just down tools and are not willing to train properly, or because we don't know the ins and outs, so I'm just surmising. So if we've got people that are consistently turning up late for training, they're not putting it in on the training pitch, they're late for match days, they're not doing what they're meant to be doing, they're not obeying the gaffer's orders or the coaching staff's orders, then for me, I think he's well within his rights to come out and say, these people have been sent away from the football club because we don't need them in and around it at the moment, because we need everyone pulling in the same direction. I don't buy into it. We both agree on this. If it's, X, Y and Z have had a bad game, that's fine, they've had a bad game. They probably know that, they're intelligent enough, keep that behind closed doors. But for me, he's under enough pressure as it is Steve Lovell at the moment. Why should he then help people out that are not helping him and not helping our football club?
My side of it is, I don't think it should be done in public. Again, I've said this before with managers and what they do and don't say about players. For me, you can do that behind closed doors and nothing needs to be said. As for downing tools, I wonder if one or two have maybe just got a bit complacent, because I know we've said it, I know Reece and James have said it, where it's not the players that Lovell's actually brought in this summer that have been the problem. It's last season's players, so maybe they're still riding a bit of last season and thinking, actually, we've got this, you know, we'll be fine, when actually we're in a fight.
Do you think they're going to be picked regardless, basically on reputation rather than current form? No, that's fair enough. Obviously, we don't, because there's no point us just sitting here and agreeing all the time just for the sake, because we think we're going to get views. That's pointless doing that. And I'd much rather we have it where we have a disagreement or difference of opinion all the time, and we'll happily chat to people on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, or in the ground when we see them, and everyone has different opinions. That's fine, absolutely fine with that, completely. So, but my stance is, if they're just basically tasting the biscuit, then out them. I'd out them completely.
For me, that can be done by just not picking them Saturday. It doesn't need to be made
This
public.
is the thing, and we're not sure who it's going to be.
Whereas now, we might see 2 or 3 games missing, and straight away them players are going to be public targets over social media and whatnot, and fans are going to vent to them.
So what do we think then? We're not going to sit here and say we think it's X and Y, but my only thing would be, I think it's going to be pretty difficult to work out who it is, even if we find a team that comes out on Saturday, unless it's someone like a Thomas Holy,
we said
or a Gabriel Zakwani, or a Mark Byrne, or a Tom Eaves.
They're the 4 for me that probably start every week.
Because, let's be honest, he's chopped and changed it quite a lot recently. I mean, he made 3 changes Tuesday from a team that had drawn 3-3 with a team in 4th on Saturday. Regardless of how we played, that was a point that was a decent point. It doesn't matter how we got it.
No, any point away is a good point,
especially against a team that were flying high. But he's made so many changes consistently over the last few weeks due to injuries, suspensions, whatever. I'm not saying that's his fault, but unless it's a massive name in terms of, like you've said, someone that you'd think he's in the team regardless because he's captain or whatever, or he's top scorer, or he's last year's player of the year. But then that could come back to your point and, well, hang about, just because he's last year's player of the year makes no difference.
I really just think maybe 1 or 2 have got a bit complacent.
But I think it's still going to be difficult to work it out. So, but it's, again, unfortunately, when we're struggling and down there, it's something else we don't need to be talking about. Anyway, we have a game Saturday. So let's have a chat about actual things that might be happening on a football pitch as this lot roll into the pre-field. Tuesday night, we lost the bottom of the league. Plymouth got off the bottom of the league. Yep. Bradford in there, bottom of the league.
Plymouth tweeted about it. Like, you said you haven't seen it, I'll show you shortly.
No, I haven't seen that, but that's a bit much.
It's along the lines of, has anyone seen the League One table and a wink face? And it's like, you've moved from bottom to second bottom.
You've won 2 games all season.
I understand if you've just gone top.
Yeah, that's it. You've won the champion, won the league or whatever. Yeah, but fair enough. I mean, it'd be nice to just tweet about it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to just say that we've won and gone up a place. Yeah.
But it is what it is. Right. Statistically, this could be one of the worst games in the league this season.
I see they've had their worst start in 100 and something years, haven't they?
They have massive problems going on behind the scenes, by all accounts, just reading between the lines on social media.
It's David Hopkin. First team coach.
It's David Hopkin, isn't it?
I don't think he's actually a manager, is he? He's
whatever guys they've decided or title they've given him. But he's only at Palace for years. Yeah. Weird looking geezer.
They've got somebody as a director, someone as a something else, and it's a complicated setup.
I'm going to have to admit here, and I dropped a big one. I predicted them in my season preview to win the league. What do I know? I thought they recruited really well in the summer. The question mark was the manager at the time, who's now been sacked and he's been replaced by Hopkins.
And also they lost Charlie White, didn't they?
Yeah, but I thought they bought in Ewan Doyle, and I thought that was a pretty decent replacement. But he's got 3 and 14 this season. Yeah, but they're struggling. They're really struggling. But so will Plymouth Tuesday. Right, form. Last 6 overall in the league. Gills have taken 5 points from 18. Bradford have taken 4 points from 18. So 2 wins between us.
Sounds fantastic, doesn't it? If you're neutral looking for a game this weekend, this is probably one to miss.
Avoid the Medway Breezefield Stadium. 4 all.
I can see us conceding 4, maybe.
Last 6 at home for us. 1-1, drawn 1, lost 4. And last 6 away for them. 1-1, lost 5.
Great.
I told you it weren't new fun. Statistics. Nah, not when I read you these stats. I don't think it's going to be a goalless game. In the last 6 games in the league, we've scored 10. So that's nearly 1.5 a game. In the last 6, they've only scored 5. But this is the key bit. In the last 6, they've conceded 11, so that's just under 2 a game. We've conceded 14.
Yeah.
So, obviously, Josh Wright comes back in terms of them. I've already spoken about. I think Ewan Doyle's a very good player.
They're the only 2 players I really know. Oh, and Jack Payne's there.
Jack Payne's there. Who's their keeper now?
It's not. It was
Doyle.
Doyle last season, but he's gone now.
He's gone, and
Not off the top of my head,
sure off the top of my head. Adam Chick's another ex-Gills player. He's there, isn't he? I just thought they brought in They brought in Akpam in the summer as well from Burton. I thought was a decent addition. They got Scannell in from Huddersfield.
Yeah, very some names, isn't there?
So
Scannell should be very good at this level.
I don't think I was entirely unjustified when I said I thought they'd do really well this season. But if we turn the Football League upside down, then we're 5th and they're winning the league. So my prediction looks absolutely spot on. But but they're really struggling. I mean, they're worse than us, and that takes some doing at the moment. In terms of team news, apparently Dean Parrott, Brandon Hanlon and Regan Charles Cook are all available.
He said fingers crossed, didn't he? Or he wasn't promising nothing.
They've all trained this week, apparently.
But if they're not 100%, I know it...
Charles Cook would be the one I think out of them that would start for me, because he was close on Saturday.
He probably needs the 3 of them to be available in the 18, doesn't he?
I wouldn't have...
But we don't want to go rushing them back. We've done it
I wouldn't have 2
times.
of them. I wouldn't have Parrott or Brandon Hanlon starting.
Didn't he say Hanlon originally was out for a month, but it's only been like 2 weeks?
Which is good for us, because usually we say a month and it's about 82 years.
So we say 2 weeks and it's a month.
No, he's been a week away for 4 seasons, but yeah. But yeah, I mean, it'd be good. Of course it would, as long as we don't play them for the sake of it, because we're so desperate to pick up something, because that's stupid and we'll end up losing them long term again. Obviously, I'm going to try and pick a team, you can try and pick a team. But it's going to be tricky on the fact that this news that's come out of the press conference of today, I'm trying to block that out.
Yeah, because right now we don't know those names and we've only
We're going to play the diamond, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to go Thomas Oley in goal. The back 4 I think will stay the same, so it'll be Luke O'Neill, Gabriel Zaquani, Max Omer and Barry Fuller. I think he might put Billy Bingham back in, because he's come off the bench, he's been in and around it for a little while, so I'd have him sitting, because Alex Lacey weirdly's missed the last 2. I think Mark Byrne and Callum Riley retain their places from the side of the diamond. I would start Regan Charles Cook at the point.
I think if you can get an hour to 70 minutes out of him.
I think if he was that close on Saturday, then surely he must have been training for a week prior to that. I mean, sorry, on Tuesday, so he must have been playing on. He must have been on the pitch for a while.
He's the one that could be, you know, if it's 0-0, he could be the one that plays the pass and
we've said all season he's been the difference maker, and as is Brandon Hanlon, and we look massively weaker with them not in the side because we lack pace
very
and
wary
driving
if we started
behind.
on 3.
I don't think we will. I'd go Tom Eves and Josh Parker up front. I know that's a change again from Tuesday, but why we're playing Connor Wilkinson as a right winger is beyond me. It comes back to this thing in the summer, which we've mentioned plenty of times when he said he didn't want wingers, and he keeps pigeonholing people into positions where they're not comfortable. So, and then he wonders why we get beat.
The thing that keeps sticking with me is I know that managers, they have different systems, and you say through the game you need to be able to adapt. You know, if you go a goal down, you play this system, but it's constant. It's, you know, obviously we don't go to away games, but at home games we sit there and we look and go after 5 minutes. Oh, those 2 are swaps. Oh, we've gone to a 5 now. Oh, we've got 3 up top.
There's being flexible, and then there's just looking desperate. I think
that's just not helping the players at all.
No,
especially when we're struggling. You should not keep chopping and changing. I don't agree with that at all.
So, what would your team be?
It wouldn't be a lot different, to be honest.
Okay.
I'd probably stick Parrott in over Bingham. That aside, I'd probably say that's my
So we'd
team.
have Parrott at the base of the diamond.
Yeah.
And then
so he's got a bit more energy about him for me.
Fair enough. Well, I mean, he played their first couple of games, didn't he? We looked all right and 1-2 football matches, so you can't really say that there's no case for that to happen. In terms of bench, I've got Thomas Hadler, Alex Lacey, Bradley Garmston. I did it wrong here. I wrote Josh Reese, but I'd have Dean Parrott on the bench. Navi Nasseri, Brandon Hanlon, Elliot List would be my bench. I just think.
I wonder if Elliot List needs a bit of a break.
it's just been a weird one, isn't it, this season? We were so excited about him throughout pre-season, then he picked up an injury, and then this and that happened.
Scored that great goal against Coventry.
Yeah, and then he picked up another injury, and he's not started, has he, this season, unfortunately? And
he was anonymous against Southend, wasn't he?
Southend, we forgot he was on, and by all accounts, he weren't great Tuesday night either. So it's prediction time.
I don't like to bet against us, so I'm not overly confident. I'll say 1-1, and my goal scorer, I'm going to go out there and say Callum Riley.
Fair enough. I've weirdly predicted a win.
Wow.
Based on the fact that none of us can keep a clean sheet, but I think we might just outscore them. So I'm going for a crazy, horrible, heart-stopping 3-2 Gillingham
I thought
victory.
you were going to go 8-7 then.
It could well be the way we defend and the way they seemingly defend. I'm going for Tom Eaves, Josh Parker, and Max Amar to score.
Very good finish by Max Amar last week, by the way.
All 3 goals were very good finishes, weren't they? Yeah, Barry Fuller's, we ain't going to see that again for another 8 years, are we? And Tom Eaves, I thought, done really well.
Gift, didn't he? But he laughed at the time and said to Julian Hart, that'll never get you.
Julian got mentioned, didn't he, on the Football League highlights on Quest or whatever it's on there. Right, it was quite a busy one this week. Thanks as always for watching. We are going to sort out, I'm going to try and sort out tickets. You've got to remind me Saturday for the Fleetwood game. I'm going to try and get 2 off the voucher, and then we can do this giveaway because we've reached 900. So we'll keep your eyes out for that. That'll probably be Sunday, Monday on social media. We'll get that out there. Please keep liking, retweeting and doing all the usual. We will be at the ground Saturday for Matchday Live. Come and say hello. And until next time, up the jewels.